Yeah, so what you're looking at is my external storage array, and it's not working. The power supply, which goes right here, it's missing at the moment. Well, it's actually being replaced under RMA with iStar USA. Um, that's the case manufacturer who I went with. I built that external RAID tower myself. It's currently a 32 terabyte RAID 5 external uh, storage tower. I have 4 enterprise drives in there right now, and it connects to my primary editing machine over mini SAS. If you're familiar with the before this previous disaster, which was a leak, and I can show you that water cooler here in a minute, a leak with the CPU water cooler, that was my last technical issue. This is the current one. And I just kind of wanted to share that as an update to all my patrons. And this is the behind the scenes of what it's like to build an independent film studio, nonprofit independent film studio. A lot of things I build myself. We're actually in my current workshop storage area for some of just a portion of things that I'm cleaning and or building. So as you can see, I'm, for example, fixing this, and the other project I'm working on is storage shelves, so I can get things off the ground. I like to keep this a very clean space. My air filtration's on right now, and I want to be able to mop the floor in that shop at least once a week. So it's important to have a clean room environment if I'm going to be fixing cinema cameras, building, external RAID storage systems. It's for this independent film studio to succeed, it has to be self-sustaining. It has to be tied around the waist. We have to invest wisely and make sure our operational expenses are as low as they can be. So I will either build, write, or invest into the right thing that moves towards that goal. This is why I'm confident that with enough time, energy, learning, and failure, I will figure this thing out. I will have a way to provide industry standard systems and studios and certifications to qualify all the content that's being produced, that it is legitimate. There is meaning, there is intention. This is worth your time, this is worth your investment, it's worth going and watching. It matters because the people behind the content should be aware of that. They should know how much resources really goes into making a film, into the technology that we have. There are rare minerals in this gear, and if it were to fail, I would find a way to repurpose it, because that is those resources all the resources should be used at least once. Plastic is a major resource that we go through, and it is harmful to our planet. It also requires us to have fossil fuels. That's not sustainable as a resource, as an energy source. So yeah, I have plastic. I dislike plastic, and I try not to use it, but I am repurposing it. provided rain protection from the last weekend working on the motorcycle road racing documentary. And I haven't talked about that much, and I will soon, but not in this video. Right now, I just kind of wanted to share a day in the life, behind the scenes. This is, a single take, unedited, raw. I was working and figured, hey, I want to update my patrons, the ones who are actually chipping in $1, so we can build external raid towers, so we can fix external raid towers, the resources down to the plastic that we will find a way to use to stretch to benefit us, so we don't have to go out and have any more operational expense than what is minimum. I ideally would only need to make income to cover my taxes and the fees and the things that I can't go out and harvest or build myself, or trade for, or know how maybe to help someone else. There's so many things we could be doing with each other if we weren't so dependent on operational income. How can we own things? How can we reduce our dependency on a third party, on a potentially a system that isn't sustainable, that we need to expect not to exist in 5 or 10 years? Look at everything that is produced and made and distributed from China, and this is not political in any way, but the trade wars is a real threat to me as a filmmaker. A lot of my equipment comes from China. I don't know anyone in the States making hard drives. I don't know anyone in the States producing the chips, the capacitors, resistors, the silicon within all the cameras and within all the computers. I don't know anyone doing that in the States, in the United States of America. So depending on what our governments are deciding on, the availability of that commodity, of that resource, is going to become scarce. So how can I have everything I need to kind of get through it for the next potentially 5 to 10 years? That's the kind of forethinking I think we should be doing right now. And again, this is why I am building an independent nonprofit film studio. And I know I can do it because I think it's that kind of thinking, the planning ahead, the careful analytical thought of all the options and the choices and the consequences. Thinking ahead here will allow me to weather the storm, will allow me the time to focus on a full-length documentary for theatrical release that appears to have cost at least $100,000. Personally, that's probably what I will have invested into getting that far in time and resources. But it's worth it, because that credibility, that honesty, the realness and the trueness and the message that I'm trying to communicate is for a reason. And it's the same message I'm talking to you about, and it's the same message that I hope you're trying to support me for. And if your support isn't there, I fully respect that. Please send me an email. Share with me why. I want to understand what maybe you don't agree with, or what you question, or what you don't understand, because it takes me a significant level of effort to, I think, communicate in fullness what I'm what I'm intending to do, with my intention, with my honesty, and those who know me will speak to that. And I guess what I'm trying to say, it just takes some time to get to know me, and sometimes we just need to have the face-to-face, and depending on what you share with me over email, I'm going to respond with, hey, let's get on the phone, let's talk. And if we agree to disagree, that's fine. I respect you as a person. I hold you with, nothing but respect. Let's just use our words and talk about things that we should be asking, like, how can I build my own external array tower array? How can I fix my own power supply? Why didn't I fix my own power supply? I am now a week behind because of shipping and RMAing this unit, and I need to just buy another power supply, or I need to really take the time to be more confident with electrical engineering to diagnose and fix the problem with that power supply. I did some video. I did some investigation and analysis, and something was clicking, like it was on oscillation, probably 50 or 60 hertz. I don't know what that clicking was, but it didn't sound right within our hard drive, and I ruled it out, within the power supply, and I ruled out it was the power supply. Do I have a spare power supply I can hook up to just get a temporary solution in place so I can review footage and edit? All things, but I also just had a baby, so I have been focused on little Owen, and right now I'm kind of putting some things on hold. And as much as I want to be working on them, I know it's more important to focus on my family right now. And another reason why I need to find more people to involve in this. More people I can give ownership and responsibility to. More people that can take on these tasks, like building shelves, like cleaning the grounds, replacing filters, fixing power supplies. I probably should get going. It's the family having fun, and I want to go have fun with them. So, thank you for listening. I support your I appreciate your patronage, and I would like to hear from you. I would like to hear from all my patrons by the end of next month. And if I don't hear anything, I'm going to reach out and try and open a dialogue about what we're doing here and why you want to support me, and what do you hope to see and learn, and what do you think maybe I could be doing better, or what questions and thoughts do you have? That's important to me. And with that, cheers.